I see Kim is here. I don't know what's happening to my. Okay.
I can't get my video to work, so you'll get a blank screen here tonight.
No, no.
Maybe
worries.
that's good. I did the red eye last night, so I'm looking pretty tired.
You just don't want us to see you in Hawaii.
I'm in California.
Oh, God. Well, you're here with our.
I'm sorry.
Hmm.
Teresa. Roll call.
Yes, here.
Liz.
She's here.
Is Liz on? Okay. We have Stephanie.
Mm-hmm.
Fran.
Fran's
We have
here.
Darlene is here.
Darlene.
Okay. And I believe that's it, right? Did I miss anybody outside of Mrs. B?
Kim?
Leslie Jordan.
Oh, is Leslie now a member?
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. Well, welcome, Mayor.
Thank you.
And I don't know, Darlene, is Deanna going to join us this evening?
You're on
muted.
mute.
I don't know. I haven't heard from her, but I could text her.
Yes, that'd be great.
So we would like to welcome our guests for tonight, our advisory board as well, our advisory committee. Or what are they considered? Our
Advisors.
advisors, yeah.
Yeah.
So we appreciate you all for attending this meeting with us tonight. Are there any other guests that I don't know about? I apologize, I'm kind of thrown for a loop tonight.
Let's see. Nope.
Okay.
Oh, Renee's here.
Okay. Well, welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here. Long day, but I'm here. Just like you all, I'm sure.
I know it's been an extremely long day, and I'm currently moving a store, so it's been taxing for me.
Oh,
So we do have, it looks like after our roll call, the item on our draft agenda is the adoption of the bylaws revised EDCAC, similar planning commissions below. Was everybody able to participate and take a look at those?
Well,
Yes.
Yes, I saw them.
So are we going to just vote the bylaws, or are we going to discuss it?
Well, let's, if you will, first item on the agenda is minutes. And that would be minutes for your November, December meeting.
Okay, so well, maybe I'm looking at the wrong document, because it says the second thing on it would be the adoption of bylaws. So am I looking at the wrong document?
Yes.
Did you add the minutes to the recent invitation that you sent out, Brian? That's probably what it was.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
in the agenda, they're on the agenda.
Well, the next one, okay, because I'm going off probably the same agenda that Helene is, but I did log in with the one you just sent out to us. So I did not have a chance to read those minutes then.
Neither
Just for
have
me.
I.
But if someone else did, that's great, but I did not.
Okay.
So do we have any comments on the minutes? Are we going to adopt those? I wasn't able to review those either.
I move that we accept the minutes.
Do we have a second?
I second.
Did you get who that was, Brian?
Stephanie,
Yes, Stephanie.
Stephanie, okay. All in favor of accepting the minutes?
Aye.
Aye.
I,
Aye.
And Kim raised her hand.
Very good.
Thank you. It looks like those minutes will be accepted.
Great.
So do you want to read off what's next on the agenda? Because I don't have a current agenda. I just have the draft agenda that was sent in in our invitation.
Okay, yeah, I have to apologize. I did resend the invitation a couple times because I kept getting the dates mixed up in Zoom versus the invitation. So I can appreciate why people are a little bit confused. Yeah, so the next item on the agenda would be any members of the public that are here, and I don't see any. And any public comment on items not on the agenda. And since there are no public here, you can, unless people have comments about things that are not on the posted agenda, then we can.
Well, you don't have anything about election of officers on the agenda. Is that,
Yeah, I know that. I see that.
so are we going to add that to subcommittee appointments and elections?
Yes, let's do that. We do need to have our officers taken care of and then go right into subcommittees.
I'm still searching for that document and I don't see it, Brian.
Okay, so maybe I could send it to you. Would that be helpful?
It would be, so I can have it in front of me. All I have is the one that was sent with the original meeting. And it says a draft agenda. And it says adoption of bylaws revised attached.
Yeah, I sent a draft agenda and then I think I was looking for, input on the agenda.
It's embedded in the Zoom invite too, you guys, and I know that can be confusing for some. It's in there as attachments. If you open up the Zoom invite for today's meeting, it's down below as attachments.
So I have the one that was sent out, looks like on December 22nd.
Yes, I think that's the same one I used, but Brian just sent one out probably 20 minutes before our meeting started. And so that's probably where it has all the updated stuff embedded at the bottom.
Oh, okay.
For tonight?
Yeah, you sent another one this evening, like 30 minutes or so before our meeting. And it said,
no. I don't
He
think
sent one
so.
on Friday.
okay,
Yeah,
maybe that's what I'm confused about. My internet's been up and down, so yeah.
Yeah, I didn't send anything out today. So,
Okay. Well, my internet came back, so that's me coming back.
Yeah, I think that's the case. Yeah, I sent out the agenda, let's see, last week. I'm looking for it, sent last week.
It was Friday, Brian.
Yeah,
The 5th?
Let me look. I'll look for that date and
no, it would have been the 6th.
oh, I see the corrected invitation, corrected invite Zoom.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was Friday.
Yeah, so click on that and it should have the documents in there at the bottom if you scroll all the way down.
I scrolled all the way down, nothing. All I have is it's in the body of the email and it tells me exactly what it was on the other.
Can
one.
you
This is
scroll
several
any
times.
more? Because I thought I was done scrolling and I had to scroll more.
No, no more scrolling. No worries. We'll just, I guess, wing it.
well, I can put the agenda up, of course. We did a little correction, but let me put up the agenda. So
Let's see all
everyone can
these.
see it.
Shit. Oh,
Okay, maybe need to mute. under those circumstances. Let's see here.
Expressions of Happy New Year.
Or the frustration of a Happy New Year. You're putting that up, Brian?
Yeah, I'm getting it, just a second. Hmm.
Elena, do you want me to just email you a copy?
Anybody could email me. I would be greatly appreciated. Thank
Okay,
you.
what is the beginning of your email address?
Support@mythankfulco.
I just emailed it to you. This is
Thank you.
Renee. I don't
There's your agenda. There's your agenda in front of you.
See, we have wasted 25 minutes.
All right, so next on the agenda, any advisors updates from Renee and Dana and Brian. And hopefully we can move through the updates pretty quickly. And then because we do have, I don't know how quickly we're going to look at subcommittee reports and bylaws and subcommittee appointments. So
I'll just give a quick update on the SIDS. We're getting ready to go into our February 22nd will be our last SIDS strategy committee. We're working on developing projects or what we call economic development initiatives that we will be reviewing from each city and county to be added to the SIDS. And we're also working on summarizing everything for our next meeting on the 22nd. And the biggest problem with the SIDS is that we've found out that Hollister and San Benito County only have one PG&E substation for the whole county, except for the one in San Juan Bautista, which is, I think, and I need some clarification, whether the one in San Juan Bautista is only for the city of San Juan and what the capacity is. Does anybody know that? Brian or Mayor Jordan?
I do not know the answer to that question.
Okay.
I don't either.
So because we found out there's only one in our county that we can extend to new businesses or expanding businesses, it's 3 to 5 years out from being expanded, which means there's little hope of bringing any businesses in. And so it's a biggest concern for us right now, and how we move forward with that in the SIDS. That's going to be the biggest issue. And so we're working with the mayor, the new mayor of Hollister, the city council, county supervisors, county staff, the CPUC, which is the California Public Utilities Commission, 3CE and others, and congressman and senator to try to figure out if there's an option or if there can be a force to expand that substation. There's plenty of room around it. There's been land to purchase to extend that. And so that's our biggest concern right now, because we don't want to put a bunch of projects that we can't succeed with in the
Okay.
SIDS.
I just found out about the substation here in San Juan Bautista. It is for San Juan Bautista and Earthbound Farms, basically.
Okay. And you have plenty of capacity. So it's not, I believe you have plenty of capacity. So it doesn't mean that we can't work in San Juan Bautista and help you develop businesses and move forward that way. And it doesn't mean the end of the story for Hollister and San Juan and San Benito County. So we're doing everything we can to work on that. It's a big issue I'll be talking about for a while. But until then, we're just trying to develop infrastructure projects and good projects moving forward, including capacity for wastewater treatment and water supply and projects in your area for industrial zoned land, trying to prepare storm drain plan and plan and develop a proposed San Juan Bautista cultural trail, commercial activity along the downtown 3rd Street corridor, and develop, you have to excuse me, I woke up with a real swollen eye, and so my vision's really messed up. I think I have pink eye, but I'm not sure. Develop a new health and wellness center in the city entryway. So those are great projects. We need more. Those are just the projects that we have. I believe all of you received a Zoom link. If not, let me know. Not a Zoom link, a survey link to add more projects for the consultants so we can bring those forward and have those in the summary that's going to be presented at our February 22nd meeting. The other concern is a hospital, of course, because, you know, as you know, Hazel Hawkins is going bankrupt, and we're doing everything we can to see if we can find a resolution to that. Everyone needs a hospital. And so we'll be talking about those two big things as part of the SEDS, but there are also community concerns. That's about all that's going on with the SIDS right now. The consultants are really working hard on doing all the summaries, the SWOT analysis, and all those things. And we'll be talking about those more at our February 22nd meeting. Does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, now would be a good time for anyone on the advisory committee to suggest projects that you want your SEDS representatives to carry forward, or suggest things that Leslie and Stephanie can take to the SEDS committee on February. And feel free to send your ideas to Leslie and to Stephanie also outside this meeting, and to answer the survey question. I really, you know, would like to see the 3rd Street master plan project, transformation project, go into the project list. I think that's a big one for us. You know, we have, we're at sort of the beginning of the planning stage in a lot of things. We know we need plans, we need projects, but we don't really know, you know, discreetly what they are. But we do know we need to have 3rd Street master plan on the list. And if anybody else has any suggestions, we can.
Do we
discuss
have
that.
things on the list? Are there other things that have already been put forth? Do we know?
Not specifically that I'm aware of. Renee, are there things that are pertinent to San Juan Bautista in particular that are on the list that come to mind?
The ones that I just read off,
Or Leslie?
I'm sure that the consultants met separately from the SID strategy committee to meet with different, or, you know, I think they met with Mayor Jordan and maybe Brian, you and Don, and
Correct.
maybe some of the committee members to talk about more projects. So those all go with the consultants. They'll summarize them and bring them back to me. But as of now, all of those surveys go to them, the consultants. So I don't see them until I see the results that they'll provide to me.
Mm-hmm. We do have 2 major planning programs underway that are going to be concluded within the time frame that we're talking about: the active transportation plan and the community plan. And both of those are pretty rich in terms of suggestions for projects that the SEDS could include. There are interconnected pathways. There's reference to a transportation center. There is reference to 3rd Street improvements and various transportation related improvements, bikeways and so forth, all of which are really great projects for SEDS, I think. So we'll be making sure that those get connected to the SEDS, because those are the major planning programs that we have underway.
Is there
Randall?
anything is there anything relating to business retention and expansion or the development of our downtown area?
Well, that would be the
Or
Third
you-
Street Master Plan.
But with the Third Street Master Plan, how is that relating to our new business district that we're wanting? Is that in there?
Well, it would be related. Third Street Master Plan would involve looking at infrastructure and streetscape and you know, accessibility, parking, and so forth. So it has a lot in there that I think are, you know, really important for you know, sort of facilitating business development.
So, because we also need to look at attracting people to our town. So bringing more visibility and a plan that's going to facilitate that process. Because what we're lacking is foot traffic. We're lacking people, bodies.
Anybody else have any ideas for that they'd like to share? And
Oh, sorry, Darlene, you had your hand up. I just started speaking, so you had your hand up. Go ahead. You did it
Go
properly.
ahead, Fran, I'll go after you.
Okay, I was gonna touch on, you know, a little bit of what Brian was saying about our infrastructure and our streetscape and a lot of things that are all structural and help with pleasing to the eye and all those things. So we have to first make ourselves a desirable place to open a business. And I think a lot of those things are really important in doing that. Okay. So it's sort of like, I'd like to fix those things. And then we could attract and start thinking about, well, what businesses do we really need here that we don't have here? Like a cooking store, a bookstore, you know, but we also have to make sure that people can actually come and do business here. Because right now, speaking as a business that tried to move to a bigger location, our buildings and everything here, it needs so much work. And I just want to operate a business. I don't have the capital to own a building or to make a building suitable to occupy it. And so I'm one for let's fix what's really, really broken right now. And that is our streetscape before we start doing the bells and whistles, because all that's going to come faster than you think when you make yourself an attractive place to do business. So that's 2 cents.
But we're talking about a 3 to 5 year plan. How many businesses do we have theoretically right now that can withstand not having enough foot traffic to keep them open? That's the reality.
Yeah, we have to keep in mind the SEDS is a 5-year program. And so it's not a quick fix, although we have current needs for sure. So these are projects that we want to have come online within the next 6 years, potentially. So it's good to think long-term. And if we don't make it within the SEDS 5-year strategy, it'll extend into the next 5-year strategy. But it's good to get these things in the program for sure.
Go ahead, Darlene.
Well, I was going to say that, you know, I'm trying to take a deep dive into revitalizing Main Street. And I'm looking at how we are going to create.
We're looking at her chin.
Yeah,
There you
create the
go.
plan. And I know I asked Brian to send some stuff out to you guys. I hope he has. But anyway,
Got it.
that's something that I'm doing. And then I'm also looking at partnerships with other organizations besides the ones that we have here. I'm looking at partnerships with Pinnacles National Park, the state parks that we have. We have one in town, we have one out of town. And those kinds of things, they're regional things, but you know, they still bring people here. That's your foot traffic. So I'm trying to figure a lot of that out because I know that Pinnacles does need some tour buses that go out there. So, you know, why not see if we can find somebody that wants to run a tour bus business that goes to Pinnacles. So those are some of the things that I have been looking at.
Well, thank you, Darlene. I appreciate it. We have Miss Renee Wells' hands up.
Thank you. I was just going to mention that the SIDS is a 5-year plan, but even though it's not, we're working on the next 5 years, the current SIDS is in place. As long as you have a SIDS that's current, you can apply for funding, and it's going to be any EDA funding is going to support your projects if they're in the new SIDS. In the previous SIDS, which is still in place until the new one can be approved by the Board of Supervisors and the EDA, you can seek funding for your project. So it's not that you have to wait 3 to 5 years to move forward. It's just that in the new SIDS, if you don't have these projects outlined in the SIDS for the next 5 years, whenever you can do them or move forward and get funding for them, then it's unlikely that you'll be able to find funding. So you want to include as many projects as you can that kind of align with what you're looking for over the next 5 years. I was just listening, when I was listening to you, Darlene, I was thinking that we should have, and others, I was thinking it would be good to put a downtown revitalization program in the SIDS, and maybe a tourism corridor that feeds into all of San Benito County, all the way to the Pinnacles. It should be San Juan going into Hollister and moving along, and revitalization of your downtown will help support that, because you don't have any utility problems right now. It might be really good for you, because if businesses are trying to come to Hollister, even a small business, and we can't provide them PG&E for the next 3 to 5 years, we would definitely try to move them to look at San Juan Bautista. Have you thought about San Juan Bautista? They have utilities, they have buildings that need to be revitalized, and you can get funding for those. So if you're trying to, especially because you have such a great history to your city, I see it as really important to make sure that your downtown, you have places for people to stay, a little boutique hotel and things like that. So things that go in the SIDS are ones that bring jobs, revitalize the community, bring it up, and cause more businesses to want to come.
Thank you so much. That was a great input for us tonight. I have Stephanie next with her hand up.
Yes, hi, thank you. I wanted just to kind of piggyback on what Fran and Renee said. Basically, the infrastructure, definitely, and we really need to address our vacant buildings downtown. And I think that what we really, really need to do is address our parking, our lack of lodging, and our lack of diversity within our restaurants. Because when San Juan was vital, back in the 70s, we had a great variety of restaurants going on. Granted, we didn't have any lodging, but when you have a great variety of restaurants, you will attract more people. And if you have more places for them to stay, you'll attract them. And then, of course, they will walk around because it'll be a pleasant place to visit. Right now, we just don't have enough to offer to keep them here overnight.
Interesting point. Thank you, Stephanie. Anyone? I have Kim next, and then Miss Dana Stroud. Kim?
I like what everybody's saying. I think that restrooms are another issue, right? How does this work, Renee, how could any of this work for Parks and Recreation? For developing facilities or initiatives? Is that in this pot at all?
You're muted, Renee.
Thank you. Sorry. Thanks, Darlene. I saw your ears. It's not just for EDA funding. The Economic Development Administration is funding, provided a grant for us to facilitate the SIDS.
Okay.
And they want projects in there that you'll ask for EDA funding for. But there's also lots of other state and federal funding
Right.
that's not EDA, and they look highly at those regions who have already put a strategic plan in place, or a SEDS, And then you have these projects in there. They look at that and they want to see every year of that 5-year strategy, how you've met your goals.
Mm.
And if you're moving ahead and trying to get funding for those. And then if you aren't, why the goals have changed. Maybe, you know, like in COVID, we couldn't do what we said we thought could do. There might be another instance in a few years that something else happens, but definitely parks. I mean, you want the cultural trail, that's going to be in there. Parks and recreations, EV stations for, you know, your tourism, if they want to come and plug in charging systems, there's lots of funding from that. I'm sure Dana and Brian could speak more on the other types of grants, but you want to be included in that because that gives an idea of you guys are really planning for your future. And if you only have 2 or 3 projects and the county or the city of Hollister have 20, it's going to look like you don't really have the vision. And I know you do have the vision.
Okay, thank you.
That's an excellent point. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Dana Strout?
Yeah, thanks, Chair Helena. I just want to piggyback on what Renee just said. We're going to see more and more of the funding, notices of funding availability and RFPs that are going out for grant opportunities. We're going to see more and more that they will be focusing on and seeking alignment with existing plans and plans that have been put in place. So where you can start to align your projects with SEDS, because then the SEDS will be used as one of those regional plans that these grant opportunities and financing opportunities are going to be looking to see that the projects are listed in. So the days of one-off projects, the days of, oh, you know, we think this is a really good idea, so let's go do this year, and then we'll do something different next year. Those days are gone. What we're really looking for now, and all those agencies with this funding, they're looking for the alignment, and they're looking for the projects that have gone through a public process and have been identified, most importantly, have been identified as a catalyst and a need for a community, and that they're not one-offs anymore. So Renee used a very appropriate word. It's all about your alignment and getting those projects in place to align with what's happening in the region and to indicate this is where we as a community, where we're headed. So you guys are on a really great track here, and I appreciate Renee encouraging you to think about what these next 5, 10, 15 years are going to look like, and so that you can start to identify what you need, where you want to go, and that you create these alignment opportunities by getting your proposed projects into these plans that are going through these very public approval processes.
So somehow, Brian, we
excellent-
got to make sure that the right hand knows what the left hand's doing. You know, so we may need to pull ourselves together in person like a little summit, you know, and start planning this, because we can all have different ideas, but we can't align them that way.
And
That's-
I just want to
I
add
think
one
that's
thing. I'm sorry. It's really important to not just look at San Juan Bautista, but look at the other projects that the city of Hollister and San Benito County are putting together and say, how can I align with those projects so that if they want funding for this, it falls into the funding I need for this. And, you know, not just think of you got to think outside the box sometimes.
It's regional.
Yes.
It's regional, and that regional alignment we're referring to, that is of great interest and great importance to those agencies and funding sources that are continuing to come forward. So this is all about consensus building among your regional stakeholders and partners and coming together to go after some of the stuff that benefits everybody. Everybody gets to benefit from this. So appreciate the alignment that you guys are focusing on.
Collaborative projects.
This is, to me, one of the most beneficial conversations we've had, because it's actually helping to frame what we need to do, our next steps, and how we need to kind of work together. And like you said, align ourselves with what's already going on and what's done regionally as well as at the county level, so that we can see how we can better position ourselves as a city to tap into the resources that's coming down the pipeline. Now, this is real change for me. So thank you all for that, Dana and Renee. Thank you so much.
I'd like
Fran?
to just before Fran speaks, I'd just like to mention to the committee as a whole, and with respect to the subcommittees in particular, that the path that you're on is working toward the sort of alignment that Renee is talking about. That is, you've been looking at activities, community engagement through community relations and resources. You've been doing outreach. You've been looking at business development and retention. Those evaluations and those, when you start taking a careful look at those areas, that's all going to end up in this report that I've been talking about. The report is not just an annual report of the EDCAC's activities. It's actually the very beginning of an economic development strategy for San Juan Bautista, focused on San Juan Bautista's needs, its programs, its aspirations. Some of this stuff has to come from the community plan and from the active transportation plan, but a lot of it comes from your conversations that you've been having over the past year. And I want to emphasize the importance of, I know Kim's committee is doing work, and Darlene has been very active with outreach. And I know Helena and Mrs. B have been actively looking at strategies for business development and retention. We've got California Main Street in the mix now for the next year, but I'm really hoping that you will take this annual report to heart with respect to putting a cohesive statement together for the City Council to act on, and use this opportunity to influence the SEDS program, because the timing is right here. The SEDS program timing and the annual report, your work over the past year is coming to a point where you can really have some influence over these programs and these projects. So I just have to say, if you have been waiting to give me things that I can put together in a cohesive package, now's the time to start focusing. And I know that Kim's subcommittee is going to be able to do that in February after your next meeting. And, so I'm hoping the other two subcommittees will give me something as well. So
I think another important factor, Brian, in relation to what you're talking about, Renee brought it up. There's still a current SED, and there's things that we can tap into and resources now that we didn't even know about. I didn't know about. And I think that was an important factor, that there's things that we can tap into, resources right now, so we can see how we can better help our communities. Yes, we're still looking long-term with the new SEDS project underway and putting that whole initiative together, but there's still a current SEDS that we can be tapping into and learning from to see how we can utilize and leverage those resources as well, which I think was important for our group now to know.
yeah, put that in your summary, definitely. Put those things in. Okay, I'd like to just, I'll stop talking, and I think Fran was next.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to add, it feels good to hear, sort of all the things that are to come. And as everyone says, it's going to take some time, and that has been the case for a while. And it's good to be part of the group that's going to try to make it happen. But I just want to remind our group that we are advocates for San Juan Bautista, and because these things aren't going to happen overnight. And so when we talk about, how we don't have foot traffic and other things, like, I know it is a struggle, but again, we are advocates for San Juan Bautista, and we need to be out there sharing this future with businesses and letting them know that things are being worked on. But also, we can't sit and be victims. As businesses, we can't sit and be victims either. So we need to really advocate that to businesses. You know, for example, you know, we have to go out and support the things that are out there today, and help make them better, not tear them down, but help make them better. And that's part of what the outreach is trying to do, trying to figure out what's out there today. But, you know, I'll give you an example of what I mean by advocating and really working and trying to make a difference out there that will help our business community and our community as a whole. For example, Selma Batista has been really good about advertising our events for the year. Okay, there's a lot of reason for that. One, we want to get it out to people, but also one of the things is that we try to work with the other cities, the other regions, because you don't want to have events on the same day, because all you're doing is taking away from each other. And so I was on the phone this week with Hollister because they decided to do their beer and wine stroll on the weekend of the rib cook-off. And then there was someone else doing a fundraiser, Girls Inc. on that day. So just having conversations about, hey, listen, we can move that date so that way it's beneficial to you and us, and we're not taking away from things. So that's a really small little example of so many things out there that you can help as advocates to help steer in the right direction and help it benefit all of us. You know, so I use that as an example. You know, events, you know, there's a lot of people that do big fundraising with their events and they schedule them on the same day. So all you're doing is splitting the people that want to donate to charity. You're splitting it in between two. You know, United Way and the hospital foundation was a good example of having their events on the same day. So I'm just saying, think outside the box and look at what we have today, and let's really try to help it be successful as we work our way to the big picture and all the things that we're working on for the future here. Don't tear things down, help them be better. That was it. I just wanted to add that as a closing to the big picture discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Fran. I have hands up from Renee Wells, and then we're going to move on to our discussion of the Small Business Administration and Go Biz, a special event.
I just wanted to have one last note about SEDS, and that is that when you're thinking about the projects you want to add in there, remember that there's also going to be the Community Economic Resilience Fund that's also a Line 6 county region projects, and they're working on putting all that together and getting out our requests for proposals and things like that. It's going to take a little time, and Dana and Brian could probably talk about it more, but it's good to have those projects in the SEDS that you may also want to request funding from the SURF. It doesn't mean you have to only have one plan with one set of projects and one set of, you want to get funding. It's just like if you're going out there and seeking a loan or funding, you're going to apply for 5 or 6 grants, and maybe hopefully one will come through, right? So just keep that in mind. That's all I wanted to say.
All right. Well, thank you so much for bringing that to our attention. I hope everyone's taking notes. I know I definitely am, so we can move forward with this. Now let's discuss, it says direction to the staff for the California Office of Small Business Administration, Go Biz special event at Business Forum, it says. Dana?
Yeah, I don't know what we can do. The presentation this morning is being shared on the city's Facebook page and on the city's website. And there are a lot of resources that were referenced in that presentation. And then rather than go through or try to summarize the presentation, I would just like to emphasize that the 2 people who gave the presentation are accessible to help us, the individual businesses, understand how best to use these programs. Well, one thing that came to mind that I was thinking was that, it would be helpful if, we've heard some reference to the fact that there isn't a lot of foot traffic in the downtown, and business is really slow, and people are suffering during these storm events. And if there are specific problems that businesses are experiencing, it might be helpful if the Cal OSBA folks would provide some way to, sort of gather, do some intake for businesses that are experiencing specific kinds of problems. And then that intake could be used to direct the individual business to an appropriate program. Because it just seems like there's so much there in the governor's office and in Cal OSBA in particular, that people may have trouble figuring out where to go and with the particular problem. So that sort of intake might be helpful. That was something I was reflecting on afterwards. But maybe Dana and Brian, maybe you have some ideas about how the businesses can access Cal OSBA resources, and just we'll leave it at that, and then people can listen to the presentation and then get started on getting these resources underway.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. I'll do a real quick response to that, and then Brian was able to provide a bit of a GoBiz update also, separate from the Cal OSBA. I'll share that Brian and I were driving this morning, so we weren't on the Zoom, but as we were listening to the presentation, we learned things that we didn't know about the programs that Cal OSBA offers. So first and foremost, nobody should feel like they have been missing anything, because there's just a lot that Cal OSBA does. Now, the point that Linda and Bob were sharing on the call today is that they are accessible. And to your point, Brian, they are in a position to help everybody kind of navigate those programs that are out there to meet some of the needs. So maybe this program works for this particular need, and another program might help with something else. So they are in a position to help with that kind of navigation and understand, hear what the issues are and be able to say, well, you might try this or you might try that. I've got a follow-up call with Linda later this week to talk about some timing and to make sure that she's aware of the, where to plug in here, and their willingness to attend some of these meetings on a regular basis, whether it's the business forum or, Renee with the San Benito County, business community, whatever it looks like, in order to have that one-on-one or that, group, hey, here's our issue, what should we do? So they're very willing to do that. And the fact that they have so many programs, they want to help the business community know about these programs. So Brian, your point is very well taken. And I think it's a great idea, and we will work with Linda to figure out the best way to get her to help with that navigation. So, and then if I could, I just want to reiterate something that Renee said a little while ago about funding and all your projects. The fact that you're going to have these projects in an adopted and approved plan opens up the door for some funding beyond what we've been talking about. Like Renee said, SURF is going to be a source, EDA is going to be a source, but there are so many other funding sources that are going to be out there. And having these plans in place opens the door for you to be able to take your plan and go after some of that additional funding. So I just want to reiterate what Renee said, to not just think small about your funding, but Brian, you referenced the ATP. Well, in the budget that's been proposed for this coming fiscal year, ATP is proposed to be refunded, and there's projects in there for that. And so we're going to start to think much broader on those funding sources that are available out there, but you have a plan with some projects that you can use to go after that funding. So I just want to reiterate what Renee said. I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Brian Coleman, to give some updates also coming out of the GoBiz shop.
Thanks, Dana. Good evening, everyone. Excuse me. I'll try to be real quick with the updates. I know we're a little short on time right now. Oh, sorry, I thought I heard someone speak up. Yesterday, I'm sorry, I keep hearing some background noise. Yesterday, the SURF interagency team released the solicitation for a proposal for the Economic Development Pilots Program competitive grant opportunity. So just as a little recap, this is part of the SURF program, but separate from the implementation funding. It provide total amount of money for the program is $50 million, and up to $10 million per project is available. And the idea is to, or the goal is to provide funding support to projects that are essentially ready to be implemented. And these can be any types of projects that support the SURF goal of, or the vision of SURF to create high-paying jobs. So it can be infrastructure projects, it can be projects that support entrepreneurship and accessing capital, projects that support like incubators or creation or establishment of incubators and accelerators. Basically any type of economic or community development project that is going to support the creation of high-paying jobs. And so the solicitation for proposal was refilled yesterday, and so I'll go ahead and send that over to you, Brian, and you, Renee, if you'd like to distribute it to the rest of the group. And applications for projects, the deadline is February 13th. So yeah, I'll definitely go ahead and share that with you after this call. And then other update from GoBiz, just a little reminder, the California Competes tax credit program application period is currently open until January 23rd. $120 million are available in tax credit funding, and there will be webinars being hosted, one tomorrow and one on January 17th. It's free to register, and these webinars will kind of go over what the Cal Competes tax credit entails and what the application process entails. So I'll go ahead and provide that to you, Brian, as well. Other than that, I don't know if I have any other updates from GoBiz or the state. Dana, feel free to add anything additional that I may have missed.
Real quick, and we mentioned it this morning, we have updated our business development guide. Many of you saw that a year ago. We called it the Comeback Business Guide. It's got a new name because it's not comeback. We're in the middle of business development now. So we'll get that over to you. We anticipate that it's released at the end of the week. And this is a source of funding programs, grant opportunities, et cetera, that are existing in the state among a variety of different state agencies. And it's a good resource tool for you to have whenever you're thinking about programs or you're talking to businesses or yourself, you're seeking it. On top of that, we are awaiting some information from our Cal OES, our Office of Emergency Services, and other agencies around potential resources to assist with a storm recovery from storm damage. So we don't have any tonight to share, but it's being put together. Brian and Renee, I did pass along a source that the California Arts community has put together to help with artists and cultural areas that may be of interest for helping with recovery there. So, but as soon as we get something from OES or other, we'll pass it along and you can pass it to the business community. And that's all that we have. Thank you.
Quick question for you, Dana, because I have on my agenda, there's a GoBiz special event.
Yeah, that event occurred this morning.
Okay.
And that was the Cal OSBA presentation that is now available in recording on our website. I will send a link. We just put it on the website this morning. It's not on the first page. You have to find it. And so I'll send a link to everyone, a business forum and EDCAC and others, so that people can access that recording. So it's very helpful. There's a lot out there. I think the state is doing a lot, and I think the county is, through the SEDS program, is doing a lot, and it's there for people who are motivated to accept the accept the resources that are being offered. So
To stay in it.
It's happening. Yeah, it's happening.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm a current participant in their program, so yeah, there are a lot of resources. It takes a little bit of navigating and is a learning curve with it, but they are definitely out there. Next, we're at 7:03. Just want everyone to know we still have a few things on it. Do we want to at least go through the discussion for California Main Street, or do we want to move the other remaining items on our agenda to the next meeting?
I do believe we need to have elections and subcommittee appointments this meeting.
I agree. I think that we've been waiting for this for a few meetings. And
Okay.
now we're fully formed committee now. We have all members slots are here. And I think we need to take care of that business.
Okay, so I don't see that on my agenda. I see discussion of the Main Street Subcommittee reports, bylaws, and subcommittee appointments.
Added elections with subcommittee.
Correct.
Well, this is the one that Ms. Leslie Jordan, our mayor, just sent me. Is there another one?
No, we orally added the elections.
I didn't know you can orally add an election to
I'm not
it
sure
already.
I agree, Helena. I'm not sure we can add elections because it's not agendized.
Okay. Well, we can at least do bylaws and we can do subcommittee appointments. And then we can do election of officers next meeting. Not a problem. But I do think we need to fill out our subcommittees and for the purpose of these, ongoing business. And then we also need to do bylaws. So I recommend we do bylaws first, followed by subcommittee appointments, because your bylaws will enable you to deal with your subcommittees.
Yeah, I'm just so confused about the agendas because my agenda has as number 3, elect officers, chair, vice chair, and secretary. And then number 4, appoint subcommittee members. So I don't know what happened.
Is that the new agenda? I didn't get that agenda. I got the one that was just sent out to me by Brian again and the mayor. And neither one of those are on there for mine.
Yeah, it's the one that Brian highlighted, some in yellow, and it's. So I don't know, you guys. I'll do whatever the group decides.
Well, I'm going to go with the agenda that I have in front of me that was just resent to me.
Brian, you're mute. Oh, there you go.
Helena, I recommend that we, first of all, deal with bylaws and deal with the subcommittee appointments. Get past those 2 things. And while the committee is doing that, I will look to see what's on the posted agenda, because that really is what we need to pay attention to. And I know Fran, received one. There were a couple of iterations. There's a draft that was sent out for comment. So I will go and see what's on the posted agenda while the committee deals with its bylaws and subcommittee appointments. And so do we need to have the bylaws up on the screen for people to look at?
I think that would be appropriate.
Okay, let me get those. Okay.
It looks like it's 16 pages. No, 1 page. It says, oh, I don't know why it says, it's 1 of 16.
Three pages.
It's 3 pages.
Mhm.
Can you blow it up?
I don't know. If I can, what do you mean blow it up?
Control plus, can it, will it work?
Uh,
I have old eyes.
You should have had a copy of it.
yeah, you probably got a copy of that with your agenda. Let me see.
If you use, Brian, if you use that little thing way down at the right-hand corner of your screen and do a plus, it'll keep going up from 100% to bigger and bigger, bigger.
Oh, yes, right, you're right. Is that better? Is that any better?
Kim?
Yes, with glasses, it's great.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Okay, we'll go through it section by section. Anybody have any comment on section A, powers and duties? Okay, no comments. I'm assuming no comments means that these are acceptable.
Fine with me.
Yes.
Okay. All right. With respect to membership, these are right out of the resolution establishing the EDCAC. And out of our conversation before, reference to the members shall review the City of San Juan Bautista Code of Ethics established by that City Council Resolution 2018-17.
Brian, I just had one question, or maybe just one amendment that we might do. We do not have 11 voting members, and maybe change it to up to 11 voting members. Because right now we don't have 11.
Yes, you do have 11 members now.
Oh, do we?
Yes.
Hopefully we will.
Yeah. And it's okay if sometimes people drop out. You still, the EDCAC is established with 11 voting members.
Okay.
I think it's accurate.
Okay, sounds good. I just was looking at the size of us.
Yeah, you're 11. You're not 11 altogether here maybe this evening, but yeah. Okay, any other comments on B?
Just capitalize resolution.
Yes. And you need a few more commas in there.
Sorry,
Oh,
I
okay.
added everything.
All right. I'll take a look at the commas and the capitalization. There. Any other comments? No? Okay. Appointments. Obviously.
I think we're good.
Okay. Terms, they've been established in the resolution.
I think we're good.
And here we have officers and roles where it says that you're going to have a chairperson every year and what the role of the vice chair will be and your understanding regarding the secretary.
I think we're good.
Okay. And here you're going to meet at least quarterly. I know we do monthly, but you know, you want to don't let it go too long without a meeting. And then your reference to Brown Act, Robert's Rules, the Brown Act. And then subcommittees can be established by the EDCAC and what their role is. And they're not subject to the Brown Act.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. Any other comment on these? Okay. And then you're going to have a quorum in order to make decisions, of course.
Yep.
And then regarding attendance, we need to make sure that we're attending here. And if you miss, then you can, and absent without excuse, that just simply means that you're absent and your excuse was not noted in the next minutes that the committee adopts. And so the next minutes don't reference you as excused, then you were not excused. That's kind of what that section says. And you can always amend the bylaws.
So-
And when you vote for these, they take effect right away. Okay,
So all in favor to, oh, we need to, who will basically be the first to accept our bylaws? To, what is the appropriate word?
You need a motion. I
need
move
a
that we
motion.
keep the bylaws.
Need a motion.
I make a motion to approve the bylaws.
We need a second now.
I seconded. Darlene made the motion and Liz seconded.
And all in favor?
Aye.
We
Aye,
should probably do a roll
Aye.
call vote.
You want to do a hands up? Can we have all eyes, hands up,
If
please?
anyone's opposed, and then.
Hands up on the little hands up thing.
Or with our hand,
Oh,
Darlene. She was correcting everybody and everybody else had their hand up.
yeah.
All right,
We got it.
okay,
We can do it.
good. Motion passed? Unanimous.
45 minutes.
Well, no. Yep, there we go.
Okay, now if you would please look at I'm going to share my screen again. And this is the original memo on establishment of subcommittees. We're sort of revisiting that, so there's a new date on it. The language is exactly the same. I don't see any reason, at least in all of your experience, to change anything about what the subcommittees are all about, but that's just me. You know, is there anybody that wants to change anything about what these subcommittees are supposed to do? If I don't, nobody has any comment, I'm just going to assume that these are good. I think they're great. I think it's a great structure that the EDCAC has established, and I think the roles are perfect.
Well, as long as they're broad enough that we can put regional in there, especially for the outreach committee.
They are. I mean, if you look at it, it's just, yeah, it's pretty. References almost everything.
And it does say broader region, so
Yeah.
including, so I think it's great. I agree.
I agree.
Add another
And then we have the business
sentence.
development and retention, which is a very tiny little, thing, but, huge. So we have, and then we have community relations and resources, also a little bit smaller, but also equally powerful.
So
And fun.
it doesn't seem like all the committees are full. So are we voting to add members to the committee, or?
Yeah,
What-
I just wanted you to review the roles first, and then think about where you want to be. There are 2 vacancies on the Economic Development Outreach Committee. And the more the merrier there, of course. And then business development and retention. I understood Fran wanted to be on that, so I put her name there. And then,
No,
and then of course, we already have an established committee. I
Yeah.
think Stephanie might want to. I think we should just talk about where y'all want to go. If anybody
Okay.
wants to move from the committee that they are on, we can do that today.
Okay, I do.
Okay?
I have my hand up. This is Fran. I would like to serve on the outreach group,
Okay,
please.
Darlene's hand is up.
Yes, oh, okay. Well, in that case, I would like to invite Stephanie Correa on the outreach group, because I would like to, because of her association with the San Juan Bautista Historic Association, because I think that's an important thing to include in some of the planning that we'll be doing.
I'll leg wrestle you for her.
Okay. Well, whatever.
Actually, I'm no longer affiliated with the Historical Society. And, but I am very interested in preservation. It's just that I'm not physically on the board anymore, but I was very interested in the business development and retention.
Oh, okay.
So that's
Well,
where I would really
and
like
I
to
do-
go.
And I do want Dina Snyder on the outreach.
And then we
Okay.
have our
And
mayor.
I'm happy to help, Darlene.
Very glad to hear that, Stephanie. I'll be in touch. But I
And
want to
then
put Dina
we have
Snyder on the outreach subcommittee.
We have we have Miss Leslie Jordan, our mayor.
Thank you. I'd like to be on the outreach as well.
Well, I really want Dina there, and I'm not going to give her up.
Awesome. I'd like to be on outreach, please.
Okay.
Well, if we have Fran and Dina, that we're full.
Okay, well, I think that EDCAC, in the event that there are more people that want to be on a particular committee, the EDCAC has to appoint people and indicate where they should go. So I have, just to recapitulate here, Stephanie, where did you want to go?
To the business development and retention.
Okay,
Welcome.
and
Thank
Fran wanted to go to where?
Outreach.
Outreach.
Yes.
Okay. And
Then I
okay.
wants to go to outreach because the other person is not present.
Well, Dina wants to be on outreach, or we might lose her. And I don't.
Okay.
want to lose her.
Maybe, well, we can check with Liz and see what her choices are. I mean, that's a good place for her, but
Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Yeah,
I
a
can
little
hear you,
bit.
Liz.
barely, Liz.
Turn this off. I want to continue to stay where I'm at. And could you put another Z in Liz, please?
Yes.
Short for Lizette. It's not Elizabeth.
All right, so I think we have two people who want to be on the business, on the outreach subcommittee. And we need to make choices.
Well,
So
I'm choosing Dina.
Here we go.
okay, we understand that.
Good.
We understand that,
And I would
Darlene.
like to have Fran too.
Well, why can't we have, well, the mayor wants to be on that too. So, I mean, the mayor and Fran,
Yeah, but
they're here.
Okay, Fran brings me already the stuff from the San Juan Bautista Business Association, which is, a very important aspect of our town, and I really wanted that. And Dina brings me extremely good analysis and presentations.
So is there any reason why we can't have both? I mean, all those people, I thought you said the more the merrier, Brian.
There's a quorum.
Yeah, I'm very concerned that we only have two people on business development and retention.
We have three with Stephanie.
No, we have three.
You have three with Stephanie.
Stephanie, yeah.
Oh, that's true. We do have three.
Just move
Okay.
Fran up to outreach.
That's true. Okay. I see. We have one vacant on community relations and resources. So what we're doing here is we are
Brian, I have
lot-
one that I never see.
What's that?
I have one that I never see.
Susie.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just really
I
two.
like her, she's a neighbor, but I don't see her at my meetings either.
So really, our community relations and resources only have 2 active members right now, because
Stephanie's leaving.
yeah. So it's Kim and Teresa. So they're lacking.
Well, not personally, we're not lacking, but yeah.
As far as the committee size,
Yeah.
apologize.
Well, there
She may not
definitely
get
is
to
a lot of,
decide.
there definitely is a lot of work on economic development outreach.
Like Darlene's not
Um,
going to decide. No.
Yeah, there's
Yeah, and
definitely,
So do we want to vote on this tonight to allow for a 5th member for economic development and outreach? Or do we want to move one of the members to our community relations and resources?
well, why don't we have a motion?
So if I can chime in on economic development and outreach, the breadth of my outreach between all of the committees that I'm already on and our new Congresswoman and Sacramento and the relationships that I have with Hollister and San Benito County and 20 other cities surrounding us. That makes better sense for me to be on that.
Well, it might, but I have a large breadth of outreach too, that you had just described. And it's like, why do we need to double that?
Yeah, and I'm also on the SEDS committee, so.
Yes, well, I stay up with what SEDS is doing.
I think it's good to have a variety of what's today and what was in the past, and a good mix. And so I think that having Leslie, because she's out there currently right now talking with a lot of different groups. And so I don't think there's anything wrong with having Leslie on the outreach right now, and then we can decide about how many members.
Then we're gonna have to enlarge it, because I am not gonna go without Dina. I know that Dina wants to be on outreach, and she's somebody
I don't remember us
specifically for that.
Yeah, I don't remember us talking about how many members needed to be in each of the groups. That's all I'm saying.
That's correct.
Well, you can't have a quorum, so you can't have more than 4 people in a group. So
Well, you can't have
Since we have 11
more than
members, we could have 5, right?
Yeah,
You
there's
can
always
have-
going to
you
be
can
an
have
odd one.
You can
Yeah,
have up
and
to 5. You can
You
have
can
up
add
to-
up to 5.
You can
Yeah,
have up to
this
5.
doesn't have to be an argument at all. I just think
Oh.
Leslie wants to be on outreach, and she can be on the outreach, and then we can add the new member. She was at the last meeting.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Right.
so I don't think there's a problem.
We need a motion to enlarge our outreach group. So who's going to motion?
I move that we enlarge our outreach group to 5 members.
And this is Liz, I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It so carries. Now, thank you. Our mayor can be on the outreach group with as
Dina,
a
Yes.
5-member team.
Yeah.
Very good.
and Fran.
I think that's an excellent decision. And so that group now has, just to summarize, has Leslie Jordan, Darlene Boyd, Liz Sanchez Turner, and Deanna Snyder.
Dina, please.
Dina. Okay,
Sounds good to me.
and Fran Fitzharris.
And
Sorry,
Fran, thank you.
Yes, okay, very good.
There we
All right,
go.
And then the
group.
Business Development and Retention Subcommittee has Helena, Mrs. B, and Stephanie.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that we need a vote for that. And if you want to ask Rosa or Susie, I'm sorry, if she wants to be on business development and retention, that would be okay, except I'm very concerned that the Community Relations and Resources Subcommittee has fewer members when their agenda is so large. So I want to make a bigger effort to encourage Susie to attend rather than to assume that she's not going to be on the committee. So.
Does
you know, Kim-
anyone have a relationship with her? Does anyone know her well? I mean,
Kim.
I know her in passing, and I saw her at some of the community relations meetings.
Yeah.
But that's about it. I don't know her that well.
You know, I know Brian, you talked to her not too long ago, right?
Yeah.
And her intention is to stay. She's a neighbor. I'll talk to her. She's on my
Yeah.
committee. Let me deal with it.
She has good energy. I just, you know.
She's busy.
She just gets busy. It happens to all of
Yeah.
us.
It does. We're all busy.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know, people, you know, cycle in and out, that they shouldn't be rejected just because they're cycling. So, okay, good. Well, we need a vote on the business development and retention and community relations and resources, the way I've just described. Just a simple motion to accept these.
I move that we accept the
Changes.
business development and retention people as Helena Walton, Mrs. B, and Stephanie Correa.
I think
Second.
you still need to change it on this document though, Brian.
Yeah, I'll change it. Don't worry. I'll change it here and recirculate.
Okay, any second for that?
I'll second it.
Already seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
So moves. Now, are we going to do that for the third one as well?
Yes, I move that we have community relations resources subcommittee with Teresa, Kim, and Rose, Susie.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 So moved. So now we've accepted all of our subcommittees.
Very good. I think that's awesome.
Okay,
And
let's get the election of officers next time.
yeah, yes. I really apologize about the agenda misunderstanding. So what happens when you try to work around Christmas, whatever.
There is a lot going on during the end of the year, and so.
Yeah. So anyway, that's a good excuse. So thank you.
Hey, Brian,
Brian.
this
Hey,
is Dana.
Brian.
This
sorry.
is Dana. Brian Coleman and I, we're going to excuse ourselves at this
Yes.
point from the meeting. I think you've got additional business that the committee needs to handle. So we will excuse ourselves, and please look for some follow-up emails from us with some links to some information that we're gathering to that you can share with the group. And it's nice to
Absolutely.
see everybody. Thank you very much. Happy
you,
New Year to
Dana.
you.
Bye.
Thank
Happy
you.
New Year.
Talk to you guys.
Thank you.
Brian. Thank you, Brian.
Hey,
It's
you're not
now-
excused, Renee. What do you mean?
It's now
What do you think?
7:31.
What do you think you're doing? Okay.
We're a little bit,
All right. I want to emphasize how important it is that the subcommittees either talk with me and interview with me. I know maybe you don't have a lot of time to summarize your notes and prepare, your subcommittee reports. And I will be happy to sit down with you and hash out what you think the city council might like to see from the EDCAC. And I'd like Kim's group to finish up work and conclude the community engagement parts. I think is so important, and not going to rush the annual report for that reason. And then I know Mrs. B and Helena are working on a book and all about business development and retention. So I'm looking forward to reading that. Hopefully it'll be more pictures than words. No, I'm just kidding. So, and then outreach, you know, Darlene, you've been doing a yo woman's job this past few months. And so I think we need to sit down
Good.
and kind of go over
Thank
what
you.
your thoughts are.
Okay,
Okay, first
And
Kim,
set up a
then
meeting.
Darlene.
I was just gonna let you know, Mrs. B texted us and says she's having technical difficulty. She just couldn't get online.
Yeah, Helena, can we recognize Mrs. B being excused?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
I have a quick, just a quick announcement. I know we're getting ready to try to close, but I was hoping that I could just let everybody know really quickly that there's some more CBDG, CB1 funds for utilities, and Hollister has basically exhausted all of theirs, but there's still money in San Juan Bautista to help people with their utilities, water, energy, and waste. So I'm going to send the flyer over to you, Brian, and if I could count on you getting it, you know, maybe in the library, maybe doing some, you know, just spreading it out so we can get it, and then I can go ahead and send it to Heidi as well.
That sounds great.
Or what?
And a point to everyone, this is not for your business, it's only for
Yeah,
residential.
it's for residential.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that Heidi sent that out already too.
Yeah, I'll have her like run it again because I want to make sure that San Juan, you know, I'm always out there paying attention to the San Juan, you know, I live here, this is my community. So obviously, even though I'm working countywide, San Juan's
Yeah.
still in my heart.
She sent it out 3 days ago. So just
Okay.
FYI.
Okay, good.
And then we should probably have it posted on Facebook and various other places. Because as you know, when you get funding, you don't use it, you lose it. So they don't tend to give you as much the next time.
Yeah, good point.
It's on the bulletin. So if you want to get on there and share it, like that's what most of us do. If there's something like that, you can share it off the San Juan Bautista bulletin on Facebook.
Go ahead and send that to me again, and I will
I
make
will.
sure that it's, I'll make sure that it's where it needs to go. Darlene,
Thank you.
yes. Did you have
your
something?
hand is up.
Oh, I'll take it down. I'm sorry.
All right, very good. Looking at the agenda, we did everything except what was not on the agenda, election of officers. I'll make sure that put that on the agenda next time.
Yes.
And if you want to get a start by sitting down with me and going over your subcommittee activities, and you'd like to conclude that, just give me a call.
Okay, I will give you a call tomorrow, Brian.
Okay. Very good. You and Mrs. B.
Yes.
Oh, by the way, since we have a 5-member subcommittee, you cannot talk to any other person on the EDCAC, none of you can talk to any other person on the EDCAC outside these meetings. Okay? That is, well, you can talk to them, but not about EDCAC business. Sorry.
I was gonna say, whoa.
Are you talking to our subcommittee, Brian?
Yeah,
Outreach?
the business development and outreach
no.
subcommittee is now 5 members, and so, you know, one little move outside your group on EDCAC business will put you under house arrest.
Oh, you're gonna be locked in the dungeon.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn.
I second, Liz.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Good
Thanks,
meeting.
everyone.
Good
Night.
night. All
Thanks,
right. Thanks,
Brian.
everyone.
Thanks, Brian.
All right. Good night.
Night.